أهلا بكم في الابليكيشنز للكورس النحو للترم الأول 113. انتوا فاكرين المرة اللي فاتت احنا يعني we were doing application 3 and we still had just one exercise to do. The last exercise that we're going to do is going to cover from skill number 1 to skill number 14. So you have all the grammar that you have taken, almost all the grammar that you have taken until now. Let's look together at the review exercise 1 to 14. Choose the letter of the word or group of words that best completes the sentence. طيب, let's look at number 1. In the United States, طبعا انتوا عارفين ان الحاجات اللي بتيجي في البداية دي يعني these are not main parts of the sentence. يعني in the United States يعني this is a prepositional phrase ملهاش دعوة بالsubject and the verb. No, we will start looking for the subject and the verb. In the United States, blank, approximately 4 million miles of roads, streets, and highways. Right. I do not have a subject or a verb, so we're looking for a subject and a verb. There is, they, and there are. انتوا عارفين ان there بتبقى يعني it is the subject in the sentence. Are is the verb. فهقول in the United States there are approximately 4 million miles of roads, streets, and highways. Let's look at number 2. 12 million immigrants entered the United States via Ellis Island. 12 million immigrants entered the United States. ممكن الجملة يعني تقف عند ما هي كده. يعني it doesn't need anything at the beginning. عندي ايه بقى؟ ممكن يبقى في أول جملة. More than, ممكن أقول more than 12 million immigrants entered. There were more than, لا ما أقدرش أقول there were لأن ده بقى عندي subject and verb تانيين. Of more than, never. The report of 12 million immigrants, لا ممكن أقول there was a report that. طيب يبقى أنا هنا كل اللي هقدر أقوله more than 12 million immigrants. Let's look at number 3. The television, so long blank, so long been a part of our culture, has an enormous influence. طيب واخدين بالكم ان انا هنا عندي been is only part of the verb. يبقى انا ما عنديش هنا الفعل كامل، فدي نقطة ممكن ادور عليها. هنبص has، ما اقدرش اقول has long been. The television has long been a part of our culture. Has، لا انا عندي هنا a sentence which has two clauses. الكلوز الاولانية the subject is the television، يبقى the television has an enormous influence. The part between the commas is a clause مفروض انها جايه بعد التلفزيون يعني بتوصفه. يبقى انا عندي هنا يعني I need for that a subject and a verb عشان الكلوز دي تبقى كامله. So long been a part of our culture، لا فيها subject ولا فيها verb. فين السبجكت والverb؟ I have which has long been. Number D. The television which has long been a part of our culture has an enormous influence. All right? Then let's look at number 4. Psychologists have traditionally maintained that infants cannot formulate long-term memories until type. أنا هنا عندي بتبتدي close and this is the connector until. بعد until مفروض ان انا يبقى عندي a full clause، يعني عندي subject and verb. I'm looking for a subject and a verb here. عندي they و they reach to reach. What do I need? I need be because it has the subject and the verb. نقراها كده. Psychologists have traditionally maintained that infants cannot formulate long-term memories until they reach the age of 8 or 9 months. طيب, let's look at number 5. A cheese shop has since grown into a small conglomerate consisting of a catering business and 2 retail stores. In the beginning of a cheese shop has no. It began as a cheese shop has since no. Its beginning, which was a cheese shop, has برضو لأ. طيب, what began as a cheese shop? What began as a cheese shop? This is a subject, a noun clause which is a subject. What began as a cheese shop? That's the subject. Melu has since grown into a small conglomerate consisting of a catering business and 2 retail stores. طيب, let's look at number 6. Primarily a government contractor, preferential treatment from government agencies as both a minority group member and a woman. طيب, primarily a government contractor. طيب, أنا هنا I do not have a subject and a verb. Primarily a government contractor عندي receives Weber. لا, I need the subject first. Weber receives, this is a subject and a verb. نشوف اللي بعد كده. The reception of Weber, I do not have a verb. According to Weber's, this is completely wrong. يبقى what do I need? I need the subject and verb in B. Primarily a government contractor. ده طبعا جزء في أول الجملة ممكن أحذفه، مش مهم. Weber receives preferential treatment from government agencies as both a minority group member and a woman. Alright, let's look at number 7. Because the project depends on the federal level. طيب, أنا هنا عندي on يعني I have a preposition so I need a noun. طيب, من غير حتى ما ابقى فاهمة بقية الجملة ولا عارفاها، يعني لو اخترت هنا واخترت الكلمة المظبوط هتلاقوا إنها هي. Because the project depends on it happens لا. Which happens لا. Which دي بتبقى for an adjective. What happens that it happens لا. هي what happens. Because what is an object. What happens what is a subject زي ما احنا فاكرين and happens is a verb and the whole clause is an object for the preposition on. يبقى because the project depends on what happens on the federal level, the city and the county may have to wait until the budget cutting ends. معناها ايه؟ طيب يلا نقول معناها. لأن المشروع بيعتمد على ما يحدث على المستوى الفيدرالي، فلابد أن تنتظر المدينة والمحافظة حتى تنتهي the budget cutting ends. the budget cutting يعني لما يبقى فيه تقصير أو تقليل في الميزانية. Alright, I want you to look at the answer key on your CDs, so when you are studying alone you will have it. Edgy exercise 9 to 12, 1 to 12, 13 to 14, and 1 to 14, which is only 7 items. All right? Thank you very much. That ends application 3, and we are going to continue with application 4. All right, let's start application 4 then. Here we have skills 15 to 19. Choose the letter of the word or group of words that best completes the sentence. انتوا عارفين زي ما قلت لكم يعني this is the kind of questions you're going to have in the exam. في الامتحان الأسئلة بتبقى يعني كده ورا بعضها وبعدين you answer in an answer sheet زي ما عرفنا. بيبقى عندنا خانات وأرقام. يعني عندي مثلا نمرة 1 وجنبها A B C D، فقدام نمرة 1 حسب الرقم أو حسب الإجابة اللي أنا هختارها هحط الحرف بتاعها. alright؟ طيب. Rarely located near city lights or at lower elevations. طيب. احنا عندنا rarely، وانتوا عارفين ان rarely دي is an almost negative، يعني بتعامل معاملة النفي، يبقى معناها ان الفعل بيجي الاول. يبقى انا بدور على ايه؟ انا بدور على حاجة الفعل فيها الاول. طيب انا عندي فعل؟ لا، I do not have a subject. So I'm looking for a subject and a verb, but the verb should come first. نبص كده، ما اقدرش اقول rarely observatories are، علشان rarely نفي في الاول يبقى لازم الفعل يجي في الاول. فين اللي هنا عندي are وin the observatories وعندي بقى are observatories؟ هي دي الإجابة دي، لأن أنا عندي هنا the verb and the subject and the verb comes first. يبقى rarely are observatories located near city lights or at lower elevations. نادرا ما بتكون المراصد جنب أضواء أي مدينة whatever. طيب نبص على نمرة 2. There are geographic, economic and cultural reasons why around the world. Why around the world. يبقى أنا هنا بعد why I need a subject and a verb. And of course the subject should come first. There are geographic, economic and cultural reasons why diets differ. Diets differ يعني أنظمة الغذاء، الطعام بيختلف من مكان لمكان في العالم. Why diets differ around the world. Let's look at number 3. Where millions of dollars each year replenishing eroding beaches, the coastline would be changing even more rapidly. طيب. The coastline would be changing. أنا عندي هنا the conditional sentence where جت في الأول، يعني معناها إن أنا كان عندي if و subject وبعدين where. طيب نبص على التكميلات اللي عندنا. ممكن أقول where the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers not spending. Where the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers not spend. ما دام عندي where يبقى لازم يبقى عندي spending. The U.S. Number C, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers does not spend. No. Not spending the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. لا. Where هيجي وراها the subject, where the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers not spending. يعني if they were not spending millions of dollars، لكن عشان شلت if ما قلتش if they were not spending أو if the US Army Corps of Engineers were not spending. أنا جبت were في الأول، يبقى معناها إن هيجي الفعل في الأول. were the US Army Corps of Engineers not spending millions of dollars each year replenishing eroding beaches, the coastline would be changing even more rapidly. طيب let's look at number 4. nowhere. طيب nowhere دي برضو نفي، يبقى معناها ان انا هدور على حاجة الفعل بيجي فيها الاول. nowhere that لا. retail trade لا. nowhere are دي الحاجة الوحيدة اللي عندي طبعا، لان دايما بيبقى فيه اجابة واحدة صح. nowhere are retail trade figures more skewed than in the auto industry. طيب let's look at number 5. New York City's Central Park is nearly twice as large second smallest country Monaco. طيب ما دام بقول as large لازم يبقى عندي as، لان هي كده ال comparison is not complete، يبقى انا هدور على حاجه فيها as. طيب New York City's Central Park is nearly twice as large as، وما دام بقول smallest يبقى لازم كمان عندي ذا. طيب as is the. as is the انتوا عارفين لما بيبقى عندي comparison ممكن اقول New York City Central Park is nearly twice as large as the second smallest country Monaco, or as is the second smallest country Monaco, or as the second smallest country Monaco is. انتوا عارفين ان الثلاث اختيارات صح، عندنا منهم حاجة واحدة هنا بس اللي هي ممكن نحطها. طيب let's look at number 6. Potassium has a valence of positive 1 because it usually loses more electron. شوفوا يعني زي ما قلت لكم ان احنا ممكن نعمل جرامر صح من غير ما نبقى فاهمين. انا شخصيا مش فاهمه كل الحاجات دي لانها كيمياء وحاجات that I don't understand, but I can understand the relations between words. Let's read it again and see what we need. بيبقى مقصود على فكره ساعات ان يبقى في حاجات في الجرامر في الجرامر exams that we do not understand. لأن what is being tested is the grammar, and grammar is something which is very mathematical، حاجة زي الرياضة كده. طيب potassium has a valence of positive 1 because it usually loses 1 electron when. طيب أنا عندي أهو when، يبقى بعد when أنا عايزة إيه؟ أنا عايزة subject and verb. طيب أنا هنا عندي subject and verb when with other elements. طيب هدور بقى على subject and verb. عندي it combines ادي subject and verb. in combining no. does it combine طبعا لا، معلش انا نسيت اقول ايه الاول. و combination. طيب يبقى when it combines with other elements. alright. طيب let's look at number 7. The economic background of labor legislation will not be mentioned in this course. ادي عندي هنا clause مفروض انها انتهت وبعدها comma. بعد كده مفروض ان انا يبقى عندي connector ومفروض ان انا عندي subject and verb. طيب انا عندي be treated. be treated is part of a verb but I need a connector. نبص على connector. طيب اول واحده does not start with a connector. طيب انا عندي nor. طيب انتوا عارفين ان بعد نور لانها نفي لازم بيجي الفعل قبل الفاعل. طيب nor trade unionism will، طيب هنا الفعل بعد الفاعل يبقى ما تنفعش. nor will trade unionism be treated. alright، يبقى the correct answer is nor will trade unionism be treated. طيب let's look at number 8. Test positive for antibiotics when tanker trucks arrive at a milk processing plant. According to federal law, the entire truckload must be discarded. طيب نبص للاختيارات اللي عندنا. اولا تست، احنا عارفين ان تست دي ممكن تبقى فعل وممكن تبقى اسم. طيب اذا كانت اسم يعني انا ما لازم نفكر واحنا بنحاول نحل. اذا كانت اسم يبقى لازم قبله when يكون جه الفعل، مادام ده ما حصلش يبقى هي فعل. طيب نشوف بقى عندنا ايه. انا عندي should milk و if milk، if milk is او milk should. طيب انا I need a connector برضو. طيب فين الكونكتور عندي؟ انا عندي if milk. if milk test positive لا. if لازم يجي قبلها يعني قبل الفيرب لازم يجي should لان هنا عندي must. طيب if milk is test، ما هي is فعل وتست فعل يبقى ما ينفعش. طيب نشوف اول واحده اللي should milk، يعني if milk should. انتوا عارفين ان with the conditional clauses الجمل الشرطيه ممكن بنحذف if في 3 حالات. اذا كان بنستعمل should او were او had، بتيجي في الاول يجي الفعل قبل الفاعل ونحذف if. هتبقى ايه؟ should milk test positive for antibiotics when tanker trucks arrive at a milk processing plant. يعني اذا التحليل جه ايجابي بالنسبه للبيوتكس لما العربيات المحمله بالحليب توصل. According to federal law, the entire truckload must be discarded. Alright? Should milk test positive for antibiotics؟ ممكن احذف دي عشان اعرف الجملة الاساسية فين. Should milk test positive for antibiotics؟ The entire truckload must be discarded. اذا كان التحليل ايجابي يبقى the entire truckload الحمولة كلها must be discarded، لابد انهم يتخلصوا منها. زي ما انتوا شايفين ان الحاجات اللي جايه بين commas دي لان انا ممكن احذفها. it's not or they are not لانهم more than one، they are not part of the main sentence. طيب let's look at number 9. Located behind the 2 lacrimal glands. طيب located behind A، behind لازم يجي وراها behind what؟ وفي نفس الوقت because this is a phrase indicating a place، ما دام جت في اول جمله يبقى الفعل يجي الاول. يبقى ندور على حاجه بيجي فيها الفعل الاول. طيب عندي is each eyelid، each eyelid لا، اللي تنفع is each eyelid. each eyelid are. طيب located behind each eyelid are. خلف كل gift are the two lacrimal glands. بتوجد القنوات الدمعية. alright؟ طيب are the two lacrimal glands. are is the verb and the two glands are or is the subject. طيب let's look at number 10. only for a short period of time. طيب only for a short period of time دي اللي بنقول عليها almost negative. almost negative يعني I'm looking for a verb before the subject. only for a short period of time, run at top speed. طيب الفعل عندي هو run، لكن عشان اجيبه في الاول لازم استعمل الفعل المساعد اللي بيشير لنفس الزمن. run is present simple، وانا في جملة زي دي لازم اجيب الفعل الاول. يبقى هقول ايه؟ do cheetahs run at top speed. only for a short period of time do cheetahs run at top speed. alright? طيب let's look at exercise for skills 1 to 19. Variety of flowers in the show, from simple carnations to the most exquisite roses. Variety of flowers in the show, from simple carnations to the most exquisite roses. أنا عندي هنا أي فعل ولا فعل؟ No. So I need a subject and a verb. A wide, there was a wide variety. Here I have there subject and was verb. There was a wide variety of flowers in the show. العرض كان فيه مجموعة متنوعة، مجموعة كبيرة متنوعة من الزهور. from simple carnations، carnations اللي هو القرنفل. from simple carnations بداية من القرنفل، زهرة القرنفل البسيطة، to the most exquisite roses، لأكثر الورود غرابة أو تميز، يعني exquisite مفيش زيها. يبقى there was a wide variety of flowers. Let's look at number 2. The wedges dartboard are worth from 1 to 20 points each. احنا لا عارفين يعني ايه wedges ولا عارفين dartboard، مش ضروري نبقى عارفينها يعني. طيب نشوف بقى. The wedges طبعا دي الفاعل، حاجة اسم اهو، اسم وعرفت انه اسم لان قبليه ذا وفي اس. طيب the wedges dartboard are worth. طيب the wedges are worth دي الجملة الأساسية. يبقى أنا عايزة حاجة هنا which is not a verb. I have the verb and the subject. طب ما أقدرش أقول they are وما أقدرش أقول are لأن are is a verb and I have a verb here. ما أقدرش أقول are they on برضو I have a subject and a verb، لكن ممكن أقول the wedges on a dartboard. I have a prepositional phrase here which was incomplete and number D completes it. The wedges on the dartboard are worth from 1 to 20 points each. الجملة الأساسية هي إيه؟ The wedges are worth from 1 to 20 points each. طيب let's look at number 3. Producing many new movies for release after the new season begins. Like producing is part of a verb. Part of a verb. So I need a subject and the first part of the verb. And his company is, type his company is producing. His company is producing. The company producing. Why the company is producing? لا، عشان الجملة تكمل بالشكل ده يبقى لازم تبقى his company is producing many new movies for release. هينزلوا بينتجوا الشركة بتاعته بتنتج أفلام كتيرة عشان تنزل بعد ما يبتدي الموسم. أنا بقول عشان الجملة تكمل بالشكل ده، لأن أنا كان ممكن أقول his company is producing many new movies for release after the new season begins. كل ده كان هيبقى وصف الإيه؟ لhis companies، وكنت بقى أبقى عايزة فعل يكمل الجملة. طيب let's look at number 4. That Emily Dickinson wrote معلش هو مفروض ان في هنا that's the space we have to fill. طيب I have a blank. That Emily Dickinson wrote, 24 were given titles and 7 were published during her lifetime. طيب عندي of the 1,800 poems that Emily Dickinson wrote, 24 were given titles and so and so. طيب ما اقدرش اقول there were 1,800 poems that Emily Dickinson wrote، تخلص الجملة. ولو قلت because the 1,800 poems that Emily Dickinson wrote لازم اقول where so and so، ما كانش هيبقى فعل عندي. The 1,800 poems that Emily Dickinson wrote برضو لا of all ولا of the 1,800 poems that Emily Dickinson wrote من ال 1800 قصيدة 1800 قصيدة اللي Emily Dickinson كتبتهم، 24 كان ليهم عناوين و7 بس were published during her lifetime. طيب let's look at number 5. Since an immediate change was needed on an emergency basis. طيب أنا عندي الكونكتور جاي في الأول، الكلوز اللي فيها كونكتور جاي في أول الجملة، يبقى عندي الكوما أهو صح. طيب by the governor المحافظ to curtail railway expenditure علشان ينقصوا في المصاريف بتاعة السكك الحديدية. Since an immediate change was needed on an emergency basis، حاجة مطلوبة بشكل عاجل. So it was، لا مش هقول so، أنا عندي since. Was proposed برضو لا، أنا I need a subject، لأن الكلوز دي لازم يبقى فيها subject and verb. طيب يبقى هنقول إيه؟ It was proposed by the governor، اقترح المحافظ to curtail railway expenditure، ضغط المصاريف الخاصة بالسكك الحديدية. Alright؟ طيب let's look at number 6. In the Morgan Library in New York City، طيب of medieval and Renaissance manuscripts. طيب كل الكلام ده ما فيهوش فاعل ولا فعل. طيب وعندي كمان in the Morgan Library in New York City، يبقى ده ايه؟ ده مكان، يبقى معناها ان انا عايزه فاعل وفعل، وعايزه الفعل يجي في الاول علشان I have a phrase of place at the beginning of the sentence. طيب let's look at the choices we have here. A collection is، in a collection is a collection. ادي subject and verb and the verb comes first. يبقى in the Morgan Library in New York City is a collection of medieval and Renaissance manuscripts. مخطوطات ترجع لعصر النهضة، Renaissance والعصور الوسطى. طيب let's look at number 7. Some fishing fleets، أساطيل صيد، might not have been so inefficient in limiting their catch to target species, more strict in enforcing penalties. طيب أنا هنا ما عنديش فعل وفعل. Some fishing fleets might not have been so inefficient in limiting their catch to target species. يا إما أقول if the government، أنا عندي هنا جملة فيها فعلين وجملة شرطية. The government had been more strict. ما عنديش هنا connector. I need a connector. طيب if the government had more strict، لا. had more strict، لا، ده أنا عايزاها had been. طيب إيه اللي عندي تنفع؟ إن أنا أبتدي بهاد، لأن ده معناه إن أنا كان عندي if وشلتها فابتديت بالفعل. يبقى هقول إيه؟ Some fishing fleets might not have been so inefficient in limiting their catch to target species, comma, because subordinate clause أو dependent clause هي اللي بتيجي في الأول. had the government been more strict in enforcing penalties. لو كانت الحكومة أكثر شدة أو أكثر حزم في توقيع العقوبات، يبقى أساطيل الصيد كانت تضطر لتحديد الكميات التي يصطادونها من target species من أنواع معينة من السمك. طيب let's look at number 8. The Dewey Decimal System currently used in libraries throughout the world. All written works into 10 classes according to subjects. طيب أنا بقول the Dewey Decimal System ده subject. اللي جاي ده between the two commas صفة the Dewey Decimal System. يبقى أنا عايزة هنا إيه؟ أنا عايزة هنا الفعل. فين الفعل؟ Dividing is not a verb. Divides is a verb. It would divide. I do not need it because I have the subject. يبقى divides all written works into 10 classes according to subject. طيب let's look at number 9. Individual differences in brainwave activity may shed light on why some people are more prone to emotional stress disorders. أنا بقول more prone to emotional stress disorders. ما دام قلت more يبقى أنا عايزة than. ما عنديش than هنا غير في حاجة واحدة. من غير ما أفهم حتى الجملة يبقى هو ده اللي يكمل الجملة صح. Individual differences in brainwave activity may shed light on why some people are more prone to emotional stress disorders than are others. Alright? طيب ممكن أقول than are others وممكن أقول than others وممكن أقول than others are. Okay? طيب let's look at the last one. Squeezed the orange juice in a 1 cup serving provides twice the minimum daily requirement for vitamin C. طيب أنا عندي 2 clauses هنا بس ما عنديش connector. يبقى I need something with a connector. طيب لو قلت if freshly squeezed، لو اتعصرت وهي طازجة، the orange juice. طيب ادي عندي حاجة فيها if. طيب نشوف الاف التاني. if it freshly squeezed، لا ما اقدرش اقول كده. ممكن اقول if it is freshly squeezed the orange provides twice whatever. لكن ما اقدرش اقول if it بس. لو قلت الفاعل يبقى لازم اقول الفعل، يا اما I reduce the clause زي ما انتوا عارفين we can reduce the clause into a phrase، فبشيل الفعل وبشيل الفعل فاقول ايه if freshly squeezed. if squeezed هي يعني freshly دي يعني ممكن تكون زيادة ملهاش لزوم، لكن ما اقدرش اقول if it squeezed، لكن ممكن اقول if squeezed. freshly only adds meaning، لكن grammatically it's not important. المهم ان انا اقول if squeezed وما اقولش if it squeezed. alright؟ طيب ممكن اقول if squeezed وممكن اقول if it is squeezed. alright, that ends application 4. Let us look at the answers so you can have a look at them when you are studying alone. Alright, let's look at application 5. Here you have an exercise that covers skills 20 to 23. We're going to underline the subjects once and the verbs twice in each of the following sentences, then indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. طيب تعالوا نقرأ الجمل مع بعض. The contracts signed by the company has been voided because some stipulations were not met. طيب the contracts subject, the verb has been, طبعا ما اقدرش اقول has been because has is not the verb of company. has is the verb of contracts and this is plural. يبقى لازم اقول the contracts signed by the company يعني which were signed by the company، لكن انا عملت لها reduction فشلت which are فبقت بس signed، لكن الفعل بتاع contracts هو has been. وانتوا عارفين ان دايما اخد بالي الفعل بتاع انهي subject. The verb does not have to be the verb of the noun that comes just before it. الفعل هنا هو الفعل بتاع contracts، فمفروض انها تبقى the contracts have been. 10 miles beyond the river was the farmlands. طيب هنا لان الجمله ابتدت with a phrase of place 10 miles beyond the river was يبقى لازم الفعل يجي الاول. طيب was the farmlands، was هي الفعل بتاع ايه؟ هي الفعل بتاع farmlands، فمفروض انها تبقى where. alright, where the farmlands that they had purchased with their life savings. طيب each package that is not properly wrapped. طيب that is not properly wrapped، that the subject و is هي الفعل بتاعها، لكن each package كل طرد ولا كل يعني حاجة package يعني لفة. each package has to be returned to the sender. طيب she would not have to enter the house through the bedroom window، مش مضطرة انها تدخل من الشباك، where the keys where they were supposed to be. where the keys يعني if the keys were where they were supposed to be، لكن علشان ابتدينا شلنا if يبقى هنحط where قبل the keys. The proposal brought so much new work to the partnership that there was not enough hours to complete all of it. طيب the proposal brought so much new work. the proposal subject brought verb to the partnership, brought a lot of work to the partnership, that there was not enough hours. was مفروض إنها الفعل بتاع enough hours, and this is plural. يبقى that there were not enough hours to complete all of it. The box of cartridges for the printer have been misplaced. cartridges ما هياش الفعل بتاع have، هي لان انتوا عارفين cartridges انا عندي of cartridges، يبقى cartridges is the object of the preposition of، يعني الجزء ده مش مهم. for the printer برضو مش مهم. يبقى the box have، the box is singular، مفروض تبقى the box has been misplaced، اتحط في مكان مش مكانه. It is disconcerting to believe that every possible candidate has been rejected for one reason or another. It is disconcerting type it to is فعل وفعل to believe that every possible candidate، every طبعا انتوا عارفين انها it's a singular word حتى لو بنقصد بيها كل المرشحين. every possible candidate has been rejected. طبعا every is singular and the verb is singular as well, so this is a correct sentence. Only once have there been more excitement in this city about a sporting event. Only negative at the beginning of the sentence. Only once. طيب نشوف الفعل. Have there been more excitement. Excitement is singular. يبقى مفروض تبقى only once has there been more excitement. Bobby has a bigger bicycle than does the other children. Then does the other children or then do the other children. Children is plural and the verb must be plural too. وانتوا عارفين ان في in this structure ممكن يكون عندي الفعل وممكن ما يكونش، وممكن يجي في اماكن كتير. يعني ممكن اقول Bobby has a bigger bicycle than the other children in the neighborhood. Bobby has a bigger bicycle than do the other children in the neighborhood. وممكن اقول Bobby has a bigger bicycle than the other children in the neighborhood do. Let's look at number 10. If nobody have bought من أولها غلط. Nobody is a singular subject, so it should have a singular verb. If nobody has bought that car from the dealer, then you should return and make another offer. طيب هنا برضو عندي غلطة. لو بقول if nobody has bought that car from the dealer, you should return and make another offer. تعالوا نشوف الإجابة بتاعت الإكسرسايز دي لأن يعني we have to end this CD. We have a lot of exercises here. That's the answer key. Time. Has should be have, was should be were, have should be has, and this is correct. Was again should be were, have should be has, and the other one is correct. Have should be has, and does should be do, and have should be has. All right? Time. All right. We meet again for another hour. Thank you very much.